Chioma took a step back, her face pale, but she quickly masked it with a forced smile. Adaeze, you don't understand. It's not what you think. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Adaeze felt a surge of anger. Lies, she thought. Every word coming from Chioma's mouth felt like another knife twisting in her heart. She had trusted this woman, called her a sister, but now, standing here, it was clear that trust had been a lie. Then what did you mean, Chioma? Adaeze's voice was calm, but there was fire behind her words. Did you think I wouldn't notice? Did you think I wouldn't feel the coldness between us, the way you disappeared after my wedding? You didn't just want Emeka. You wanted to break me. And you almost did. Chioma's eyes welled up with tears, but Adaeze wasn't fooled. She wasn't about to fall for the act. You think I don't know what you're doing? Adaeze stepped closer, her voice low but fierce. You cursed me. You used a snake. I felt it inside me, Chioma. I felt it slithering inside my body, trying to take everything from me. Chioma shook her head frantically. I never meant to hurt you, Adaeze. I was desperate. I couldn't stand seeing you with Emeka. He was supposed to be mine, and when you took him, it broke me. I thought if I couldn't have him, no one else could. Adaeze's breath caught. The venom in Chioma's words hit harder than she expected. Desperate. Was that the excuse she was going to give? After everything, Chioma thought desperation justified betrayal? You don't get it, do you? Adaeze took a deep breath. You thought you could break me, but all you've done is make me stronger. You've given me a reason to fight, Chioma, to reclaim my life. Chioma looked like she was on the verge of collapse, her hands trembling. Please, I was lost. I didn't know what else to do. I just wanted to be happy. I didn't mean for the snake to kill your child. Adaeze froze. My child, she repeated, the pain seeping back into her chest. You took my child from me. You cursed my womb. You made me believe I was broken. You made me feel like I wasn't meant to be a mother. The words hung in the air, thick with the weight of their history. Adaeze's heart twisted as the memories of her lost child flashed before her eyes. Chioma's face softened for a brief second. I never wanted that, Adaeze. I never wanted to hurt you like this. Her voice cracked. I was selfish, and I can't take it back.
You can't, Adaeze said quietly. But you can stop. You can stop hurting me now.
The room was heavy with tension. Neither woman spoke for a long moment. Adaeze's mind raced. The curse still hung in the air, like a shadow lurking in the corner of the room. But there was something different now, a shift. Adaeze wasn't sure if it was her own strength returning or something else, something that had been building since the moment she walked into Mama Uzo's compound. I'm done being your victim, Chioma. Adaeze whispered, her eyes locking with Chioma's. I'm not going to let you destroy me. Chioma fell silent, and Adaeze could see the cracks in her facade. Maybe Chioma had never truly understood how much power she had given Adaeze by underestimating her. Tell me, Adaeze said, her voice firm. How do I lift this curse? How do I make it stop? Tell me what I need to do. Chioma swallowed hard, her eyes darting to the floor. I don't know. I didn't even know if it would work. The gift was just a charm. But it was meant to bind you, to take away your joy. The snake was just a symbol of what I wanted to destroy in you. Adaeze's eyes narrowed. A symbol of what she wanted to destroy in me? The words echoed in her mind. But there was still more to this. Mama Uzo had said it wasn't just the snake, it was the spirit, the curse that fed off Adaeze's pain, her silence. Adaeze took a slow step back, her thoughts clearer now. This curse is far from over, isn't it? It's still inside me, isn't it, Chioma? Chioma looked at her with wide, terrified eyes. I don't know. Her voice trembled. I didn't know the curse would do this. I thought it would just break your spirit. I didn't know it would bring death. Adaeze's gaze hardened. But now you know. And so do I. Adaeze turned on her heels, her heart pounding. She couldn't stand another moment in Chioma's presence. The confrontation had gone as far as it could go, but it wasn't over, not by a long shot. As she walked away from Chioma's house, she could feel the weight of the curse pressing down on her. Mama Uzo had warned her, "You must confront the source, Adaeze. Only then can you start to reclaim your life." But the truth was, Adaeze didn't feel like she had reclaimed anything. The wound was still fresh, the grief still gripped her chest like a vice, and the shadows from the curse still followed her. The full moon was high in the sky, casting an eerie light on the path ahead. Adaeze knew what she had to do. She had to return to Mama Uzo, finish what she started, and break this curse once and for all. But just as she reached the gate of her house, she froze. A shadow shifted at the edge of her vision, and she spun around. Emeka? Her husband stood at the edge of the driveway, his face pale and tired. His clothes were rumpled, his eyes red as if he had been crying, or maybe drinking. Adaeze's chest tightened, and she didn't know if it was from the emotional toll of everything or the sudden tension that filled the air. "Where have you been?" Adaeze's voice cracked as she walked toward him. "I needed you. I was in that hospital for days, alone, fighting for our child. And you weren't here." She swallowed hard, trying to keep her voice steady. "Where were you, Emeka?" His face twisted with guilt, but he didn't speak right away. He ran a hand through his hair, taking a deep breath. "I'm sorry, Adaeze. I should have been there. I didn't know what to say." She shook her head. "You don't get to apologize now, Emeka. You don't get to come here with your sorry excuses. Not after everything." He stepped closer, his eyes filled with something. Regret, pain, maybe even love. "I've been distant because I don't know how to help you through this. I couldn't stand to see you suffering, so I shut myself out. I didn't know how to be the husband you needed me to be." Adaeze looked at him, her heart breaking all over again. But this time, something in her shifted. She wasn't the same woman who had needed him to be strong. She wasn't the woman who had sat alone in the hospital bed, waiting for him to show up. She was stronger now. "I'm not the same woman I was before," she said, her voice firm but soft. "You didn't fight for me when I needed you the most, Emeka. You didn't fight for us. You were absent when I needed you to be present." He flinched, and the pain in his eyes was almost more than she could bear. I know I failed you, Adaeze." Adaeze didn't know how to respond. Her emotions were all over the place, but she couldn't let him in again. Not like before, not until she figured out what was happening with the curse and with herself. "I'm not sure I can forgive you right now," she said, her voice trembling. "I need to fix what you helped break inside of me." Emeka stood there as if her words had knocked the air out of him. He opened his mouth to speak, but nothing came out. Adaeze turned away from him, not out of cruelty, but because she had no strength left to hold anyone else's guilt. Not tonight. She walked into the house, shutting the door behind her, and for the first time in weeks, the silence felt like hers to command, not like something haunting her. But she didn't rest. As the hours passed and the moon drifted higher, Adaeze sat in her living room, the box of wedding memories open in front of her. Somewhere beneath the ribbons and photo albums, she found it, the red cloth, the one the snake had come wrapped in. Her fingers trembled as she touched it. The cloth was dry, yet it felt alive. Mama Uzo's words echoed again. You must return the curse, not with anger, but with truth. So Adaeze did something she hadn't done in weeks. She knelt. Not out of submission, but out of power. She lit a candle, then another. She brought the red cloth into the center of the floor and placed it in a calabash bowl, just as Mama Uzo had shown her. She closed her eyes, whispering to the ancestors, to the spirits of her lineage. You who carried life through generations, come, see me now. I am your daughter, your blood. The flames flickered, the room shifted, the air grew heavy, like something unseen had entered. I don't want revenge, she said aloud, her voice steady. I want release. I want to end this. I want my womb free, my spirit whole. Suddenly, the flame shot higher, then dimmed to a dull blue. The red cloth in the bowl began to twitch, moving as if something inside it was waking up. Adaeze didn't flinch. She reached for the small jar Mama Uzo had given her, salted ashes mixed with lion's root, and sprinkled it over the cloth. The movement stopped. The air grew still. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, a hiss, low, quiet, but unmistakable, whispered from within the bowl. The curse was still alive. Adaeze raised her head. You were not born of me, she whispered to the force inside the cloth. You were placed within me. I return you to your sender. She took a deep breath, picked up the bowl, and walked out into the night. The moon was beginning to set now, and the first whispers of dawn were in the sky. She knew where she had to go, back to Mama Uzo. The old woman was already outside, waiting, as if she'd known Adaeze would come before sunrise. You did well, child, she said, without needing to be told what had happened. But you are not done. Adaeze set the bowl down at the base of a carved totem post. What do I still need to do? Mama Uzo motioned for her to sit. The spirit that was planted inside you is not a simple one. It is an envy spirit, sent not just to destroy, but to replace. It fed on your joy, your light, and in the space it created, it tried to birth something of its own. Adaeze's eyes widened. What? What do you mean? You were not just cursed, Mama Uzo said softly. You were possessed by a dark fragment of Chioma's soul. When you lost your child, it wasn't just death. It was sacrifice. That spirit wanted to be born through you. Adaeze's stomach turned. She remembered the doctor's words. There's something inside her. It's alive. And she remembered the stillborn child. So small, so perfect, and yet... It wasn't fully my baby, she whispered. No, Mama Uzo said. Part of it was, but part of it wasn't. That is why you grieve so deeply, because your spirit knows the truth. Something foreign mixed with what was sacred. Adaeze felt her chest tighten, tears stinging her eyes. So what do I do now? You must reclaim your womb, Mama Uzo said. Spiritually. No man, no priest, only you can do that. Tonight, you must bathe in the river that runs behind this village. naked, alone. You must speak your name into the water and declare yourself whole again. Adaeze nodded slowly. And after that? Mama Uzo's eyes gleamed. Then you will return home. And if Emeka is truly yours, he will return too, not just to your house, but to your spirit. But if he does not, you must let him go. You cannot carry the weight of both betrayal and broken love. Only one can be healed. Adaeze stood at the river's edge. The moon was gone now. Only stars watched her. She slipped off her clothes and stepped into the water, the coolness wrapping around her like a balm. She closed her eyes. I am Adaeze, she said aloud, daughter of Nena, granddaughter of Obiageli. I take back what was mine. I wash away what was placed in me. The wind stirred the trees. The water seemed to shimmer under the starlight. I will grieve my child, she whispered, but I will not grieve myself any more. I am not broken. And with those words, something inside her shifted, like a great heaviness falling away. A whisper of something ancient moved through the trees. A blessing, maybe. A goodbye. When she emerged from the river, the darkness felt lighter. The world felt new. Adaeze sat by the window sipping warm tea. The air smelled of cleansing herbs. She was calm, whole, not entirely healed, but no longer bleeding. A knock came at the door. She opened it slowly, and there was Emeka. He looked different, humbled, tired. I've been waiting, he said, but I needed you to come back to yourself first. Adaeze studied his face. And are you back to yourself, Emeka? He didn't answer right away. I don't know, but I want to try. I want to earn whatever love you're still willing to give. She stepped aside, letting him in, not as a promise, but as a beginning. Chioma knelt before a mirror, her face pale. In the candlelight, a serpent slithered around her wrist, its yellow eyes glowing. The curse had returned, but not to her womb, to her spirit. And Mama Uzo had been right. The truth, spoken without anger, had broken the spell. But now, something darker watched Chioma, waiting, hungry. Months passed and Adaeze and Emeka began their slow, careful journey back to each other. The wounds were deep, but the curse that had once bound them in pain had been broken. They moved forward, step by step, creating a new life together, one founded on truth, healing, and the strength Adaeze had found within herself. They rebuilt their home, not just with bricks and furniture, but with laughter and tenderness, the kind that had once been absent. Emeka became more present, not just as her husband, but as her partner. He listened when she spoke. He held her when the memories came, and she allowed him in, slowly, carefully but surely. Adaeze found herself pregnant again, and this time she had no fear. She had learned to trust her body again, to trust that the darkness had been banished. The day she went into labor, it was a different experience. There was no coldness in the room, no sense of foreboding, no shadow lurking at the edges of her vision. Instead, there was only warmth and the joy of anticipation. Emeka held her hand, and when the doctor placed their son into her arms, Adaeze couldn't help the tears that flowed. Tears of gratitude, of relief, of pure love. A healthy, strong baby boy. They named him Chijioke, which meant God is supreme in their native tongue, and indeed they felt that way, blessed beyond measure, as though their child had been a gift not just from their love, but from the universe itself, restoring balance after so much pain. Emeka looked down at his son, his heart swelling with pride and awe. For the first time in years, he felt whole again. As the years passed, Chijioke grew up strong and full of life. He was a curious child, always asking questions, running around the house with his boundless energy. Adaeze often caught herself smiling, watching him play. The joy in their home felt like a soft melody, a contrast to the silence that had once hung over them like a storm cloud. Emeka was a devoted father, often getting down on the floor with Chijioke to play games or read stories. Their home was filled with laughter, Emeka's deep voice mixed with Adaeze's gentle tone as they shared simple, beautiful moments together. Their love had been tested, but it had come out stronger than ever. And now they were more than just husband and wife. They were partners, parents, and best friends. Chioma's life had unraveled in ways that Adaeze could never have imagined. The curse she had placed on her friend, driven by jealousy and bitterness, had backfired in the most devastating way. Her own soul, fragmented and twisted, had consumed her from the inside out. Every night she could hear the serpent hissing in her mind, reminding her of her failure. She had tried to move on, but something was always missing, always hunting her. She had lost Emeka, who had never been hers to begin with, and the emptiness that had driven her actions now gnawed at her. No matter how much she tried to bury it in distractions, in men who didn't matter, in alcohol and late nights, the regret and guilt ate away at her. Her beauty, once her most treasured asset, had faded. She had become a shadow of the woman she once was, lonely, bitter, and lost. Her friends, the ones who had once adored her, now kept their distance. They whispered behind her back, and she could feel their eyes on her, as though they knew the truth, that she was the one who had caused Adaeze's suffering. Chioma had tried to reach out to Adaeze once or twice, but each time her messages went unanswered. The doors she had slammed shut between them remained locked, and no apology could heal the wound she had caused. In the depths of her solitude, Chioma saw her own reflection, a hollow version of the vibrant woman she used to be. The house she had bought for herself, once a symbol of independence, felt more like a prison now. The snake, that cursed serpent that she had summoned in the dark, had never truly left her. It had taken residence in her spirit, poisoning her every thought, reminding her of the depths to which she had fallen. And as the days went by, Chioma felt the weight of the curse more deeply. It was no longer just Adaeze who had been harmed, it was her too. She had destroyed her own future with her bitterness. Adaeze and Emeka lived the rest of their lives in peace, watching their son grow into a kind, strong young man. They traveled together, built new memories, and loved deeply, knowing that their past had only made them more resilient. And Chioma, though still alive, never found peace. Her days were spent in misery, the curse she had set in motion never lifting. The shadow of the snake, that dark force she had conjured from jealousy, never left her, nor did the deep regret she carried in her soul. In the end, it was not Adaeze who was broken, it was Chioma, the one who had tried to destroy a bond that had only grown stronger. And as for Adaeze, she had learned the ultimate truth, that no curse, no betrayal, could ever truly break her. She was a woman of strength, of grace, and of unshakable love, and that was her victory. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please click on that subscribe button now. Turn on the notifications so whenever I post more interesting stories, you'll be the first to get them. I really appreciate you. I do not take your support for granted. See you in my next video. Bye.